Hello and welcome back to District Trending. In this video we're going to be going over the real reason behind Stop Trying to Be God by Travis Scott. And if you guys are a fan of Travis Scott, make sure to leave an early like on this video because I am pretty curious to how many of you guys are actually Travis Scott fans. And also be sure to watch this video to the end to enter our iPhone X giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. Getting right into it, the newly released music video has Travis Scott begging the listener to stop trying to be God and he should know. In the video, he baptizes a flock of Mormon-esque white followers, survives the apocalypse, and even rides a dragon thing, and he still isn't God. God can shoot lasers out of his eyes, and that's how you know it's him. Kylie Jenner also makes an appearance in the video as a golden, angelic Mary figure holding the newborn lamb that, just like you, has the Astroworld song stuck in his or her head. However, all of these scenes have a secret meaning behind them, and we're going to get into them right now. Well, right at the start, are going to be saying that this is a diss at Kanye. However, I personally don't believe that because Kanye is kind of his own thing. I mean, he's been in his own bubble for months, basically, with all the Twitter stuff he's been doing, but I think this is more of a general message to his fans that have a God complex. And if you don't know what a God complex is, basically it's when you literally think that you are God and that you are literally above everyone else, and that's how big your ego is, and you think you're some kind of chosen one. On the off chance that this is a Kanye West diss, then I can kind of see how the two music videos, this one and Bound 2, are kind of similar in the goofy style that they have, but I really don't think this music video was intended for that purpose. I think it's just kind of to appeal to the mainstream, and if Kanye West is part of the mainstream, then he could learn a thing or two from this video, as well as this is all through Travis Scott eyes. Like, the entire music video is his own process of going and confronting his own God complex, and that becomes very apparent in the first scene here where Travis is found herding a bunch of sheep. Now, this is a very biblical symbol because these are supposed to represent his followers, basically. In the Bible, Jesus' followers were always symbolized as sheep, and Jesus was supposed to be the shepherd. You can definitely compare this to when Travis Scott was first coming up to stardom, and he thought that all of his fans were sheep, and he had the duty of basically trying to guide them in the right direction. When he got famous, his ego grew and he felt like he was above them. Personally, I don't think I can fault Travis for having that elevated sense of ego, because in the end, if you are a big celebrity, like if you're a big YouTuber, you do have a lot of fans to take care of, and basically you have to help them under your wing and help them grow and basically give them what they came for, which is whatever they came for, whatever they subscribe to you for. And always, when you're in this elevated sense of power, you always rub off a little on the people, and then that's how they end up becoming followers and similar to you. Also, there's something at the very end of this video that actually relates a lot to this, so you're going to want to watch till the end. But of course, over history, there's always people that try to take advantage of that by trying to manipulate the masses into thinking something that's not true, or just trying to use a larger group of people for their own need. The next scene in this music video is transitioned by the camera moving up and then turning upside down, kind of contrasting the original scene with the sheep, and this is supposed to be Travis's own world where everything is going on with all of the chaos. This world has a lot of money, partying, and just a lot of stuff, and this is supposed to represent the overall influence that his music has over this culture. But what caught a lot of people's attention was the reason why he wasn't dancing along with everyone else. He seems kind of bored, and he just doesn't feel very into it, like he's kind of bored of this own genre that he's created for himself. As the camera moves right and right more and more, eventually fire comes out of nowhere. This is supposed to be by God smiting him for all the bad stuff that he's done, and he kind of accepts it. Travis Scott literally just stands there and he humbles himself and he takes it all in. After that scene finishes, the camera moves over to the right even more and shows Kylie Jenner holding on to Travis Scott, and obviously Kylie Jenner is Travis's girlfriend. However, it could be implied here that she had some kind of role in the development of Travis dealing with his God complex that is not told. The scene could also represent how Kylie keeps Travis out of a lot of trouble, how most girlfriends do to their boyfriend. After that scene finishes, the camera then moves up to reveal that God is actually Travis Scott. Now, I think the symbolicness behind him being God, I think, is because he's trying to show everyone that the God complex is actually bad by, hurting himself in the process from earlier. Now, it's very important that you guys know that this scene and the next scene actually lead up to the very last scene, or one of the last scenes. So this first scene shows Travis Scott standing on the top of a hill with a bunch of his followers on the bottom. Now, I think that this represents his fans, like the modern fans. I'm not just talking about, like, I know this is supposed to be like a biblical thing, however, I think this is supposed to represent like his actual like modern fans looking down, or he's looking down on his fans basically. In this scene, I'm pretty sure he's just trying to preach to his fans, and that elevates his message because he's trying to preach to his fans using music. In the next scene, when Travis Scott baptizes everyone and they're dancing on the side, I'm pretty sure that stands for him converting, you know, just normal people into his fans by giving them his music. I don't think there's another reason for them to be dancing after, unless it's just like them being really happy that they're accepted under Travis. Now, this part is where things get very interesting because all of this has been leading up to what happens now here. Apparently, like, everyone's saying that this is supposed to be like an apocalypse kind of setting. It's really not. What's really happening here, Travis is trying to convey and symbolize that this is like his self-destruction, that the God complex, when you have that, you are literally self-destructing on yourself because you're so high above everyone else that everyone just becomes this thing that you can just use, and then that ends up pretty much just ruining your entire perspective of life. By baptizing all the people, by herding all the sheep, by standing on top of the hill, by doing all that stuff, it doesn't help him in any way. It kind of, in fact, does the opposite. It makes him seem like this person that he's really not supposed to be because it's really not his place, and he even says that in the lyrics. Travis comes to the realization that he has to humble himself because in a world where he was God, he would just end up destroying it. He's trying to say that no one is fit for the position of God, no human, no anyone except God himself. And this notion is asserted again because Travis Scott, him as being God, lasers himself flying on the dragon, and then he pretty much just ends up becoming his own destructor. You can see that the Travis on the dragon is actually in a lot of pain, and I'm pretty sure he had to come to that realization. It probably hurt him a lot, and probably he was very upset about it at first, but eventually, slowly, after a while, he had to accept it just like any other person with a God complex. Now, this final part of the song is potentially at Travis Scott's own funeral, and you could see there it's very dark and just very gloomy. I'm pretty sure the reason why it's so dark and gloomy and there's not a lot of people at his own funeral is probably because he doesn't think a lot of people would care about him after everything is over. Which reveals a shocking fact about Travis, is that deep down under all the ego and all of that, he might not even care about himself a lot. Presumably the only people that would be showing up for his funeral will probably be his immediate family and maybe one or two very close friends. Right after that transition, again, you see a transition and you see Kylie Jenner holding a little goat or a sheep. I'm not too sure which one it is. And I think what this means here is that Travis Scott was actually reborn as the goat / sheep. This is actually incredibly symbolic because after Travis realized that the God complex was very self-destructive, he ended up being reborn as a follower under God, which is what he's trying to convey here. Overall, the music video is a lot more symbolic than the lyrics. The lyrics have the same just general idea of just don't try to be God, and that everything that is sort of just idealizing this way is wrong. Travis really puts us in someone's shoes of someone who does have a God complex and shows the struggles of trying to overcome that. I think Travis wants us to be a little empathetic of people who do have a God complex because they don't know any better, but at the same time to people who do, that it can be overcome. He also conveys in the music video that if you do have a God complex, feeding into it will only make it worse and will eventually end up in you becoming incredibly self-destructive. And that people with God complexes end up ultimately isolating themselves unless they end up figuring out what they need to do with themselves, which is ultimately just not feed into the God complex anymore and to overcome it. This also gives us some insight into Kylie Jenner. Potentially, she could have helped Travis with all of this stuff while they were dating or at the very beginning, and maybe that's why Travis and them decided to get together in the first place. Ultimately, Travis definitely did convey that having a God complex in any way and thinking you're above people is no good in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, I'm going to end the video off here, so if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and make sure to comment down below what your favorite part of the Travis Scott music video Stop Trying to Be God was, along with subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss an upload. That's going to do it for me, so I will see you guys in the next video. Also, if you guys would like to enter the iPhone 10 giveaway, all you have to do is leave a like on this video and subscribe with notifications on.